of Anupashyati, of person speaking based on the disciplic succession. Sukadeva Goswami answers quoting conversation between other great personalities. So he will quote the conversation between Maitreya Rishi and Mahatma Vidur, and he will quote a conversation between Brahma and Narad Muni. Towards the end of the first canto, this is in the 19th chapter, Parishit Maharaj had asked two flavors of two questions. So a little bit of spot quiz over here. Who remembers the two questions and the two flavors of them?
What should a person do who's about to die? In general, and then he says especially one who's about to die. And what should be heard, sung, and remembered?
Yes, yes. So that is two questions, and two flavors to the question is the negation of that. What should a person do? What should a person do is about to die? What should one hear, speak, and meditate about? And what should one not hear, speak, and meditate about? So these are the questions that are asked from verses 24 to 38. So the questions are answered briefly in the first chapter of the second canto, and the first four verses, and the first three chapters are basically more elaborate answers to the question. So like I was saying, I was giving a thematic flow. So thematic flow means that the themes can the themes basically serve more than one purpose. So 1 to 3 establishes the superiority of bhakti over all other processes of self-realization. It also answers the question that Parishad Maharaj asks towards the end of the first canto. So he asks, what should a person do? Sukadeva Goswami says, execute the process of devotional service. What should a person hear, chant, and meditate on? The answer is the personality of Godhead. What should a person not hear, chant, and meditate upon? The answer is whatever that entangles one to the material world. So he gives this answer briefly in the first four verses of the second canto, first chapter, and then the three chapters are essentially elaborations on. So the question, of course, here is that Sukadeva Goswami has answered the questions of Parishad Maharaj, and he has recommended the superiority of bhakti. Why is he speaking about lower forms of realization? And the specific answer is that given by Vishwanath Chakravarti is that present in the sages at Sukrita are those who have different conceptions. And the reason we know that they have different conception is because when initially Parishad Maharaj had asked the question of the sages, before Sukadeva Goswami had appeared, there was a fair amount of discussion and debate, which indicates that there were different conceptions. So Sukadeva Goswami is being cognizant of that, and he is also speaking to people who have different conceptions to be inclusive and also to guide them to successively higher stages. From a more generalized perspective, he is speaking because he knows that the Bhagavatam will be read for thousands of years to come by people of different conceptions, and he wants to make sure that it is inclusive to them also. So So that's the overall flow of the second canto, and how it relates to the first canto, and basically to the process of Q&A that is being that has been established. I'll start now with the verses 2.2.1. Um, so so my goal is to try and finish this chapter before I leave, which is this discussion and the next discussion. A lot of the verses in this chapters do not have purports in them. So they're essentially descriptions of the super soul. So maybe we can go faster, but we'll see. I don't want to rush it just for the sake of finishing it. So let me start with 221. Sri Sukhuvacha evam pura dharanyatmayoni nashtam smritim pratya varudhyatushtat tatha shashar jedam amog drishti yatha pyayat prag Vyavyasaya buddhihi. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, formerly, prior to the meditation of the cosmos, prior to the manifestation of the cosmos, Lord Brahma, by meditating on the Virat Roop, regained his lost consciousness by appeasing the Lord. Thus, he was able to rebuild the creation as it was before. So the verse talks about two things, right? One thing is talking about is the introduction of the theme of this canto, which is creation by Brahma, right? Which is Visarga. Second thing that it's talking about is the fallibility of the Jiva. So Lord Brahma represents uh, uh, a highly elevated state of consciousness of the Jiva in the material world. So the Jivas have 50 qualities, Lord Brahma has 50 qualities, but in Lord Brahma they're manifested fully in the Jivas. They're manifested to lesser and lesser extent. So Lord Brahma is right up there, but we see this fallibility in him, that he regained his lost consciousness. So consciousness it's not that he became like unconscious, but consciousness in this context is that his understanding, it is that his memory, his consciousness of being doing. So how did he regain it? So he regained it by meditating on the Virat Roop. So so this verse is the introduction to the theme of this chapter, which is I'm sorry, this verse is an introduction to the theme of the previous chapter, which is the meditation on the Virat Roop, and will basically lead us to so is the connection. The previous chapter was Virat Roop. Here is talking about the advantages of meditating on the Virat Roop. So what was the situation of Lord Brahma? He says pratya avrudhya, that he lost his memory. He lost the understanding of being able to do what he is supposed to do. But then he regained it how? Tushtat. Tushtat means that he satisfied the Supreme Lord. And because of the benediction that he received through this satisfaction, a payayant, that he was once again able to create the universe as it was before the previous destruction. And why was he able to do that? Vivasaya buddhi. So does anybody remember this term, Vyavasaya Buddhi?
Yes, Prabhuji. Bhagavad Gita 2.41 Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandu.
Right. So Krishna is very fond of this. And so is Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada quotes this verse very often. Vyavasatmika buddhi eke kuru nandana bahushakanantas. So Vyavasatmika buddhi is basically one's intelligence that is engaged properly or in a focused way. So, so this is essentially Sukadev Goswami. He's citing an authoritative event to verify the potency of meditating on the Lord's universal form. So formally, Lord Brahma, he had attained the ability to create the universe. Because he was fallible, he forgot. So this is not the forgetfulness of like somebody tells you a phone number and you forget about it. The reason Lord Brahma forgot is that he forgot. It was more fundamental to it. He forgot Atma Tattva. He forgot the nature of his relationship to Krishna. He forgot his possession. Now he did not forget it to the extent that we forget it.